Hello everyone, my name is Luke Elijah. Thank you very much for watching this video. My video guest with me today is a very experienced real estate leader. His name is Chung.
Hi Luke, thanks for inviting me.
Right, Evan, could you tell the audience a bit about your background and your history?
Sure, okay. I've been in real estate for probably close to 2 decades, I think.
This is a long time.
Yes, it's been a while. Hopefully I don't look that old.
Not at all, not at all.
Thank you,
You look the
thank
same
you.
age. You look the same age.
That's awesome. You look younger for sure, okay? Yeah, so it's been a while in the industry, but I think in terms of the passion, the joy that I have, it's still the same, and I think that's the important part to keep going. But in terms of a bit of history, I think I started some time back, simple like everybody else. We started in sales first, get to learn the ropes and stuff like that. Then along the way, I told myself, hey, let's do a few things. I believe in building businesses. So from there, I said, okay, maybe let's start off small first. Let's do a team, and then we grow from there. So I was in the firm DTZ, Debenham Tai Lung. That was a company that used to be an international property consultant in Singapore. And we ran a group of, just myself first, then to 5 people, then to 10 people, until we hit about 100 plus. Yeah, so that was the early days. I was younger than 30 then, 20s, in my 20s.
Yeah, early start.
Yes, not as early. I wish, some have started at 21,
Yeah, I heard
probably
21, 22.
Yeah, I was the later part of the 20s. So got that going, made to vice president, meaning I take care of my own group in DTZ. Thereafter, I think our whole group actually moved to another agency. It was also international property consultant. That's Knight Frank. And from there, I actually continued being a leader for my division. Yeah. Then somewhere along the way, I think about 4 or 5 years down, they asked me to actually head up the agency arm of Knight Frank. Yeah. So that's when I changed roles a bit. So I went into the corporate role to head the agency. So it's very different. First, you're taking care of sales, you're leading a team. Then next thing you know, you're running the P&L, you're running the strategy, you're planning for the firm, you're running trainings, compliance too, of course. Yeah, so that was definitely a good experience, I would say. Yeah, 4 or 5 years into that, and then now I'm off to SRI as a real estate leader, heading up my whole division.
You got a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders, Right?
Yes. I mean, if you look at it that way, to some people it's like, okay, a lot of people to care for, there's a lot of responsibilities. I see it as lives I take a journey with, So the people, the relationships, I think that's the precious thing that goes through this whole journey. You can talk about how well you do in sales, what houses you sell, and that is important, don't get me wrong, advising the clients and all that. But I think in terms of the relationships, both with our clients and the agents that we work with, I think that's the most precious part, I would say, that I had in my journey.
They essentially become extensions of yourself, right?
Yes.
In your very long, decades long experience as a realtor, could you share some of your most memorable career highlights?
Most memorable ones. You see, that's the part we always try to think. What was the most memorable one?
Too many, right?
Yes, there's a lot of moments. The common ones you will hear is I did this big deal, I made that
I won this
large
award.
sale, that kind of
big ones.
I have to say for myself, it's a little bit different. The memorable ones are actually the humble beginnings to me. The days when I just started up in real estate. So I'll share a bit on that if you don't mind. Okay, really it's the days where what we see today is, okay, the awards, the group that we take care of, but the very initial days are what people don't see. And I think that's very memorable because they are the formative years. They are the years where you build up, you grow, you learn. And what were those? I remember I even started off doing all sorts of things. Private resi, HDB. I told myself, if I'm going to be a good leader, I better be able to transact in most of this and then guide my guys. So, interesting experience. I had one that room rental that I did. Okay. Now these are things that you don't hear often. So there was an argument between the landlord and tenant. And guess what? It got to a point where somebody was holding a chopper, threatening somebody. Okay? These are the things that you don't hear, okay? So, real case, okay? I'm not joking, real case. So me being a young agent, not knowing, not thinking much, I went up to the guy in front of him, and chopper was about this distance.
That's very brave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the truth. You know why I dared to do that? Because he wasn't aiming at me.
Mm.
He was aiming at the other party. So I said, hey, put it down. So that was, in that moment, you don't realize it, I mean, the moment
it was instinctive.
Yeah, it was instinctive. You know, I didn't realize the danger of that plate right next to me. But you see, the interesting part of this is these things actually capture in your memory. And years down, I tell this story to our new agents.
It's a good story.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one.
Yeah.
I mean, you will hear all the things, you know, how I closed that 20, 50 million building and all that. This is unique.
Very unique.
And what I do encourage most realtors is there may be a lot of scenarios you may come across.
Yes.
Maybe not so scary, but some may be more startling, perhaps.
Yeah, divorce cases usually.
Yeah,
right?
there will be challenges like that, arguments, heated emotions.
Yes.
For us, I would say you will see a lot of extension beyond just a real estate advisor's role. You know, sometimes you're there as a friend.
Yes.
You're there to help out. You're there as a counselor sometimes, you know.
A mediator.
Yes, a mediator.
Wear many hats.
The guy to hold the shield against the chopper. Yeah. So I think that's the really interesting experience. And trust me, to this day I remember that, and that was really my early career. You know, so some memories. Then along the way, I would say, because the things that really you will look back fondly upon, you know, the days.
It's a good sharing, Evan, I must say.
That's one. So I look back fondly upon the days where it's just simple beginnings, humble beginnings, you know. We throw the flyers, we send the mailers, we meet clients, we have the coffee sessions, and then from there, build up over the years, and you see the network grows, the client base grows, and these relationships then develop into really valued friendships.
Yeah. So your clients become your friends over a long period of time of trust and respect.
That's true.
Right. How about if you were to change an aspect, if you could turn back the clock and do something differently, what will you change?
I see. Changing an aspect, that's the part, right? I think I would change how I deal with challenges. Okay, because a lot of times we don't like it. Honest truth, when something tough comes about, you have a tough case, a tough deal, human reaction is to shy away at first.
The
first thing if only I had a more smooth case, right?
Yeah.
That's the first reaction. But when I look back, actually all these challenges and difficulties were things that helped me grow, you know. So if you ask me what I could change, I would say I would change my attitude and the outlook of how I see these challenges.
Seeing the silver lining behind the trials and tribulations.
Correct. To actually see that aspect and kind of like approach it with enthusiasm instead of fear, you know. Yeah, because we go through a lot of this and we say, if only the case could be easier, why do I have this challenge? Why not do it? Okay, awesome. This is challenging. Let me learn from it.
Oh yeah, you learn from hardships for sure.
Yes, that's right. I know it's not easy to have that reaction, but
it's uncomfortable at first.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But if you ask me what's the thing I would change, that's the part I'll change.
That's very good advice.
The outlook to it. Yes.
Evan, speaking of advice, right? What advice would you actually give to buyers out there who are looking to upgrade or buy their first property, especially because you specialize, even though you're versatile, you specialize in landed and private residential, right?
That's right.
So what are the factors that buyers should look out for?
Factors. Okay, if you're talking about own stay.
Yes, good investment for them.
Okay.
Yes.
I address two aspects. If you don't mind. Yeah.
Like
say you're looking for own stay objective, and then there's the investment objective. So I do meet quite some people who say I want the best of both worlds. The best that I can stay in and the best that I can invest in. I'm not saying you can't find that, but what I'm saying that is if you actually focus on one objective specifically for your property, with the other one only as a secondary, you will see things will be more clear in terms of what you can search for. So let me give you some idea. Okay, if you're talking about own stay, we're talking about a lot of things. Is it convenient to the kids' school? Am I comfortable in this space? Not am I making the most dollar return on this 5 years down? So those are the aspects I usually like to encourage buyers to focus on if they're looking for their own home. The primary residence, the place that you call your home, is first of all comfortable. You got to be happy in it. So what are we talking about? Layouts. Does it work for you? Is the bedroom large enough? Can you have the dresser for the wife? Things like these are the important factors. Location. Can you get to work easily? Can your kids get to school easily? Take note, 6 a.m. waking up, making the drop off every single day is something seriously to think about. I'm going through that, I know. Okay, yeah. So that's for the homestay aspect. Okay, there's a lot of these points that must make sense for the family before you're talking about what kind of return or what kind of rental yield can I get in the future when I rent it out. You must be happy, first thing of all. Then we talk about investments, right? Okay, so for investor, I think the objective is slightly different from the own stay. What would it be? Best price possible for the property, getting the best yield or return on the property. So the assets got to perform, both in terms of rentals, how much it can get you per year, and also in your potential capital gain in the future. So you will see even the locations for own stay property versus the investment can be very different. Own stay will be like the factors I mentioned, right? Convenience, not just near school, but maybe near the folks. For investment, you'll be solely focused on a few things. Is your potential tenant going to find it convenient to get to their workplace and also their schools and all? So we will think of things like on the main MRT lines. Whereas those who are looking for own stay, perhaps they may have a slightly different thing. They say, oh, I have a vehicle. So MRTs may not be so important at the moment. So these are the subtle differences between the own stay and the investment property. What else will I look out for? Of course, undervalued deals. I think we all want that. Okay, we're all on the search for it. Put it this way, it's not thrown out on the market there. Okay, you have to get in touch with somebody who's in the know, in the area, a good advisor to actually help dig out these properties. So that's of course finding a good value deal at that point. But most of the time, I would say maybe 80-90% of the market may not find an undervalued deal. So what do you look out for? Future potential. That's what we look at. Infrastructure. We look at what the government's doing for the area. Is there a rejuvenation plan? Is there more connectivity, bus routes, MRT routes? Any form of potential development like this will then actually see your asset having a greater capital gain. Yeah. So these are, in a nutshell, the various aspects I would say slightly different for the own stay guys and the investors.
Very comprehensive, thank you, Evan. Right, as a leader and mentor to so many experienced and new RES, what is your advice to aspiring real estate agents who want to come into the workforce?
For those starting up, right? I see it. Okay, so like I started sharing, do not despise the days of humble beginnings. Everybody starts somewhere. So for us, I think in the industry, we have seen all the illustrious awards, people achieving the millionaire status or doing all sorts of things that really is the glorified aspect in any industry. But what's precious, right, is the initial days and how you start up, the attitude you take towards it, and how to grow. So for aspiring realtors, what I always would recommend is find a good mentor, find a good firm, and by good firm, I don't mean how the company is doing. I mean, does it suit you? Okay, is it a firm that can help you with the business opportunities, with mentors that can guide you with good training? Because these are your shortcuts, to success. So with all those things in place, of course, the basics must be there, right? Let's attend the stuff, attend the trainings, be present, make sure you learn, find somebody. This thing in entrepreneurship we always hear, right? You found a good mentor, you manage to learn at that shortcut your journey to success. It's the same in real estate. I encourage most of our realtors to look at this as a business rather than a job. So there's a difference there. In terms of a business, you're defining what you want to achieve. You're defining what you want to do every day, your goals, your strategies, your targets. A job, you will have KPIs, meaning it's the same thing, but you're told by somebody to achieve that. So to see success in real estate, excuse me, I think what the agents have to do is not wake up every day and say, okay, let's see what happens today. Is to wake up every day to say, this is the plan for the day, this is the plan for the week, this is the plan for the month, and then the goal for the year. Have that plan. How many leads are you going to work on today? How many people are you going to prospect? What are you going to do? When are your viewing slots? Define all of that, and then you have a purpose waking up each day. The toughest part is go up, you wake up and go like, oh look, something's nice on the TV, let's watch, okay, or YouTube for that matter. Yeah, that's usually the challenge when you're your own business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're somebody building business yourself. The distractions out there are great.
A lot.
Yes, you're right.
A lot of temptations. Yeah.
It's true.
Correct, for sure. I think you hit on some really good points, right? Most people, they give up too easily. They're trying to wait for things to fall onto their lap. It doesn't work that way. You have to be proactive to go generate the leads, right? And that's the way to have longevity in this business, or for anything in that matter in life. Right, to succeed, you need to be proactive. You need to go out there, put yourself out there.
That's right. We usually refer it to be the hunter instead of the farmer. So you got to go out, you got to look for your prey, you got to look for your targets, you look for what you need to work on. Whereas versus waiting for things to fall, things to happen. Yeah, so I think this is I would say quite a key defining success factor, not just in real estate industry, but in many industries. Whoever goes for it, sets a plan, will be the ones you see good success. You may hit walls, don't worry. You may hit walls multiple times, there may be setbacks, there may be challenges. That's where not just your mentors, but your colleagues, your friends, trust me, even your clients at times will be the ones there lifting you up and bringing you along. So this is the journey where you will see I tend to treasure a lot in terms of relationships, because these are the things that define us. These are the people that define us. Now, wise man once said, right? Who you'll be in 5 years is based on
the five closest people to you.
The five closest people to you, and the 5 books you're reading at that point of time. So, I mean, maybe this generation, we don't have the books anymore, right? But there's micro learning, there's YouTube, be discerning, of course. And from there, then grow your knowledge, grow your experience, grow your expertise. And for sure, if you persevere, you will see the good success.
Wise words. Thank you, Evan, for that. Right, any last things you'd like to add or share with the audience?
Sure. Okay. So, assuming we have different people tuning in for this, I think to the owners, investors, and people like that, Singapore market's interesting market. A lot of times we would love to see what we call the cycles, right? The ups and the downs. Everybody would love to want to time the market, meaning I want to buy at hopefully the lowest point possible and to sell at the highest point possible. Let me share with you that in so many years of what I myself have invested in, and also the clients we serve, it's never really possible to time
the market. You can't time the stock market perfectly, neither
you can't time the real estate market either, you see. So the encouragement that I would give to most people looking at the property market is to pick a point where you can find a good value buy. Okay, that means you're not paying over too much for that property compared to transacted prices, but a good value buy at that point of time and get invested in the market. Because land is scarce here, we all know that. So far, the trend has been an uptrend. Even in COVID, that was a surprise, wasn't it? We thought it would head down, it went the other way around.
Yeah, because of scarcity.
That's
supply
right,
and demand.
Correct. So that's where you should say, if you have your primary residence, okay, that is at least your one hedge against inflation. If you don't have that, try not to rent for too long, because that's an expense. You're paying somebody's mortgage instead of your own. So you hear this in the stock market a lot, right? To stay invested. I would say the same for the property market. Always at least maintain that one primary residence. And for investments, if you want, you can time it. You try to find the best point to enter, the best point to exit. There's no issue with that. But make sure that home over your head is there. So that's in terms of the property owners, property buyers. For real estate salespersons, sorry, I don't like that term. I like advisors a bit more. Okay, so for the real estate advisors, I think the advice I would really love to give is to just be bold and to step out. A lot of us go, okay, this is the tried and tested method. Let's do it. In the old days, that used to be flyers, the door knocking. This current email, we're talking about social media. We're talking about videos. Find your own voice. Find the thing that works for you. And I'm a strong believer in building up a personal brand. Like, so when I got started in the real estate industry, I told myself there's 2 ways I can do about this. One, I can go, let me help sell your house. Or I can say, okay, here's the deal. If you want to do it in 2.5 million, I can get it done in a month. But if you want to try for higher, which I believe you do, 2.6, 2.7, you got to give me some time to find that right buyer, that will pay the dollar for your house. So you speak in this way, it's going to tell your client something, that you know your stuff. Honest truth. I had to tell myself to speak that way even within the first week or 2 weeks of my real estate career. And real life story, this is a surprising part. I had a client who actually signed me exclusive. Said, well, Evan, you seem to know your stuff. So how long have you been in industry? 5 years? I'm like, not that long actually. Yeah. So what I would encourage the real estate advisors to do is be confident before you build up the experience. For sure, you can use the knowledge to help yourself get onto the experience. So what that means is get yourself in the know, property trends, how the market is doing, the details of a certain development that you're working on. When you have that in place, it can make up a lot for the experience at the start. Then along the way, that's where you grow your experience, sharpen your expertise, and from there you will see your client base growing. So that's the part I would encourage a lot of our salesperson, just to work on that, building up your confidence, making sure that you know. Okay, I can't say anything else for somebody who does not do their homework. You got to be in a know, and then you can start serving your clients.
Wow, so many wise words and great takeaways. Thank you so much, Evan. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Luke.
Hopefully, we'll have you back in the future to discuss other topics related to the real estate industry.
Sure, always a pleasure.
Right. Okay, guys. I'll be placing all of Evan's social media links in the video description feed, so click on them to reach out to him. Thank you all for watching this video. Please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more similar upcoming videos. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke.